welcome to this week's edition and weekly wrap. I am Shahana, and I am bringing you the biggest top stories, the biggest controversial stories, the most top stories that's talked about throughout the United States and beyond. We have so much to cover, and we're going to talk about Elon Musk. We're going to talk about an expected Pentagon visit that he's made, and a controversial new education policy, and a major protest that's happening in Florida over the immigration law. And we're going to talk about Disney's latest film as well. So guys, I am bringing you the top stories, and I want you to stick around, okay? Don't leave, because you do not want to miss any of this. So we need to get started, and we will get started, shall we? Let's go.
So we understand that there was a request from Musk to get some kind of briefing on China.
When Elon Musk does something, the world pays attention. But when he visits the Pentagon, that's when speculation runs wild. The tech billionaire, who already plays a significant role in defense technologies through companies like SpaceX and Starlink, is scheduled to meet with the top military officials. The reason? Officially, it's about discussing innovation and efficiency in government operations. But unofficially, reports suggest Musk may be getting a briefing on U.S. military strategies regarding China. Now, both President Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth have been quick to shut down these rumors, claiming there's no classified information being shared. Still, the visit has raised serious questions. Could Musk's growing influence in official intelligence, space, and defense make him more involved in military decisions than we think? Is the government relying too much on private entrepreneurs for national security? Musk, never one to shy away from controversy, hasn't commented directly, but his increasing involvement in military contracts suggests this might not be the last time we see him stepping into the Pentagon's halls. For now, we'll have to wait. In an era where digital engagement is king, the Democratic Party is making a bold and some say desperate move, turning to online influencers to spread their political message. From TikTok to Instagram, lawmakers are partnering with content creators to appeal to younger voters ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. Supporters say this is a smart strategy. Gen Z and millennials consume most of their news on social media. So why not bring the campaign to where they are? But not everyone is convinced. Critics argue that blending politics with influencer culture risk turning serious issues into viral gimmicks. Some Democrats insiders worry that relying too much on internet personalities could backfire if these influencers say or do something controversial. And let's not forget the Republicans, who are already mocking the move, calling it a sign of a party out of touch with traditional voters. But like it or not, digital engagement is the future.
I will sign an executive order to begin eliminating the Federal Department of Education once and for all.
Education in America has about to see one of the biggest shakeups in history. President Trump has signed an executive order that significantly reduces the power of the Federal Department of Education, aiming to shift decision-making to states and local governments. Supporters of this move argue that the federal government has been too involved in education, leading to unnecessary bureaucracy, wasted resources, and one-size-fits-all policy that don't address the unique needs of different communities. By giving states more control, they say education can be tailored to fit local needs better. But critics are warning that this decision could be catastrophic. Many worry that without federal oversight, states could slash funding for crucial programs, disproportionately affecting low-income and marginalized students. Others fears that policies ensuring equal access to quality education like Title I protections and special education services could be weakened. With education always being a hot button issue, expect the executive order to spark legal battles. If you've been watching the stock market this week, you know it's been a wild ride. Global financial markets have been reacting to multiple geopolitical and economic shifts, causing major fluctuations in investments. Here's what's happening. Let me tell you. The return of President Trump has led to significant policy changes, particularly in trade and tariffs, which are making investors nervous. Meanwhile, Europe's defense industry is booming as the global tensions rise and China's tech sector is seeing growth despite increasing restrictions from Western governments. But not all markets are thriving. Emergencies economies are struggling, and uncertainty over the U.S. economy's direction is making Wall Street uneasy. With financial experts predicting more volatility ahead, the big question remains: are we heading toward another financial crisis?
Co-stars? Sure.
Disney's latest live-action remake, Snow White, was supposed to be a celebration of a beloved classic. Instead, it's turned into one of the most divisive movies of the year. Some fans love the modernized version, praising its diverse cast and updated storyline. But others are furious, arguing that the film strays too far from the original fairy tale. Some critics accuse Disney of trying too hard to be politically correct, while others say the backlash is just another example of people resisting change. Regardless of where you stand, one thing is clear. Disney's attempt to modernize its classics aren't always met with applause. Will this backlash affect box office sales? Or will controversy actually boost? A travel nightmare unfolded this week at Heathrow Airport in London, where a massive power outage caused by a fire forced the entire airport to shut down. The result? Hundreds of flight cancellations and thousands of stranded passengers worldwide. This isn't just a minor inconvenience. Heathrow is one of the world's busiest airports, handling international flights across Europe, Asia, and the US. The disruption caused ripple effects throughout global travel, leaving many wondering, how did a single power outrage or power outage create such chaos? A major legal decision has just sent shockwaves through the White House and the military. A federal judge has blocked President Trump's policy banning transgender individuals from serving in the U.S. military, ruling that it is unconstitutional, and discriminatory. This ruling is being celebrated by LGBTQ plus advocates who argue that transgender service members have served with honor and dedication. Many point out that there are currently over 14,000 transgender individuals actively serving, and banning them would not only be unfair, but could also weaken military readiness. However, supporters of the ban argue that medical treatments and accommodations for transgender service members could create logistical and financial burdens on the military. They also claim that unit cohesion could be affected. And now, for our most controversial story of the week. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has signed a new immigration law that is already causing an uproar across the state and beyond. The law, which imposes strict penalties on businesses that hired undocumented workers, also gives states authorities expanded powers to check immigration status. Supporters argue that this is a necessary step to curb illegal immigration and ensure that Florida jobs go to legal residents. But critics are calling the law discriminatory and harmful to the state's economy. Florida relies heavily on immigrant labor, especially in agriculture, construction, and hospitality. Many businesses owners fear that this law will drive workers away, creating labor shortages and causing significant financial losses. Protests have erupted across the states, with activists, immigrant rights groups, and even some business leaders demanding that the law be repealed. Some have already filed legal challenges, arguing that it violates constitutional rights and could lead to racial profiling. The big question now is, will this law survive the legal battles ahead, or will public pressure force challenges?
I wanted to kind of talk to you about what I think about these stories and share with you my thoughts. First of all, I wanted to explain to you, that this is a scary time for everybody, not just for me. I know it's a scary time for everybody. Everything that's happening in this world, and I am so disappointed about everything. I'm very disappointed, and it's just so sad that all this is happening in this world at this time. My opinion and my thoughts about, for example, the Department of Education. If the Department of Education includes hurting children, in school. I'm a school bus driver. So I love my kids. I have a lot of kids that I transport, pick up from home and transport to go, drop them off at home and everything. So, I care about kids. Teachers, they work so hard and to protect and keep our kids safe. And if the Department of Education is going to hurt disabled kids, kids that are disabled, handicapped kids, or if it's going to take away lunch, free lunch, food for the kids so that they can have food to eat when they might not have any food at home. That's a big issue for me. That's some devilish stuff that's going on. And then, if it's about the Disney Snow White movie, well, by the way, this is a diverse country. This is a diverse country, and we have all types of colors, which is beautiful. I love rainbow. So what's wrong with, being able to be different and create something different and more interesting and exciting? I'm all for it. I love diversity. And then what about the Heathrow airport shutdown? Wow, that's really scary. That's something else. That's horrible. I just feel so sad about thousands and thousands of people being stranded, not able to take the planes to wherever their destination is going to be. And then the federal judge blocks Trump's on the gendered service members. Well, look, God loves us all, but I just don't know what to say about that. God will do the judging. You know what I mean? Like, we all are people. We have feelings. We are all people. Those people, that Trump are talking about, those are some human beings that is doing their job and do a very good job in what they do. And then Florida's new immigration law. Well, I understand about the law. I understand it. But, having immigration, having diversity, all of that, that what's make our country beautiful. And they are the ones who are taking jobs, who are working, and doing jobs that a lot of American people don't want to do, even when it means them getting paid lower wages. So that's my opinion. And so I wanted to know, what is your thoughts on these stories that we just talked about? Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about it. And don't forget to subscribe, and click that bell button and subscribe so that you can get some updates for my next videos.